Good afternoon. On this Armed Forces Day, under the teardrops of all of the mothers and family and friends of our military soldiers, I'd like to welcome you to the dedication of our Never Forget Garden. At this time, I would like to invite the Newton Falls Veterans Honor Guard to present the colors, after which the Arthur J. Prescott chapter of the National Honor Society will lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance. Sirs? One, two, three. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, our 2022-2023 National Honor Society Vice President and our 2023-2024 National Honor Society Vice President will sing our national anthem. Ladies.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
If the wind will stop blowing my pages, I would love to give a few remarks at this time about the garden before you. It was a little over a year ago now that I was doing research on something which I can no longer remember because I'm always researching something. But in doing so, I came across the Never Forget Garden project and the marker that was for sale from the Society of the Honor Guard of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. These gardens were to be a method to commemorate the centennial of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, which was established in 1921, and allow all communities to participate in remembering our military soldiers who gave so much for us. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, Never Forget Gardens, were inspired by America's unshakable commitment to its sacred duty to never forget or forsake those who have served and sacrificed on behalf of America in times of war or armed conflict. It was 2022, so I was a little late for the centennial, but they were continuing with the project trying to add these gardens to communities across the country. In fact, today they continue working to expand this project even more, now removing the idea of the centennial and focusing simply on the ideals of never forget. Well, immediately my brain started racing, thinking of how we could incorporate one of these gardens on our school grounds. The next day, I went to the principal, Rachel Rankin, and asked if she thought it would be possible for us to put one of these markers on the grounds and a small garden with maybe a bench and some flowers. She expressed enthusiasm for the idea and interest in moving forward, assuring me that she thought the superintendent would agree. I then went to the superintendent, Rocco Aducci, who also thought this would be a wonderful idea. With permission granted, I purchased the special garden marker plaque and then went to the National Honor Society officers and asked if they thought they might like the NHS to be involved. They were very excited about it. The president and vice president came with me scouting the grounds for where we should place it. We selected 3 possible locations and were ready to share them with administration. Then we had a few setbacks. We got a new superintendent, Justin Christopher, and needed to let him know about our plans and get permission once again, which we did. We then had a few other delays impede our forward momentum. However, in the fall, on October 15th, we broke ground, and just this past week, we added the finishing touches just in time for this dedication. The garden before you was created completely by hand. We dug out the area by shovels, pickaxes, and hoes, and poured all of the concrete stepping stones one by one with molds. We grew some of the plants ourselves and planted each one with shovels and spades. When it looked like we were not going to have enough height in the garden portion, the city donated a truckload of dirt to help us. A local veteran found out that what we were doing and donated the hosta. Our National Honor Society vice president's parents offered to donate the bench, and an anonymous donor provided us with the flags and veteran flag holders. The rest was taken care of by the NHS and the Donleys so that it could look just right for our veterans. Now that you know how it came to be, let us talk about what can be found in our Never Forget garden. There are 3 focal points within the garden, and one item which will become a focal point as it grows. Of course, we will start with the Never Forget garden marker plaque. It was a little small for the size of the garden, which is a 21-foot square, alluding to the 21-gun salute and the 21 steps that the Sentinel Guards march at the tomb of the unknown soldier. So my husband, Mr. Donley, helped me make the monument that it now resides in. At the top are the allegorical symbols of peace, victory, and valor, with the title, The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, connecting this garden to the symbol of gratitude in Arlington National Cemetery and remembrance of our veterans. Then it states, Never Forget Garden, to remind us of why this garden is so special, along with the following statement. This garden is a living tribute to all of America's veterans and their families. In silence and respect, this is a place to remember why millions of Americans have fought and died for our liberty and our freedom. Here we renew our promise to fulfill America's sacred duty to never forget. Here we renew our mutual pledge to support them with our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. I would like to say that it sits at the end of 21 steps from the sidewalk in the same symbolism of the 21 steps for each pass of the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Washington, D.C., but that will depend on your steps. The second focal point is the bench. It is a fitting tribute to the soldiers who always carry each other and lend a helping hand to those in need around the world. It will also serve as a place of rest for the weary and a place for reflection and remembrance of our soldiers. It was donated by the Adams family. 2 of their 3 children attended our school. Both of the children who attended our school were members and officers of our National Honor Society. One is currently attending West Point Military Academy. Please note that it has been placed on the west side of the garden. Opposite the bench, on the east side of the garden, is a planter, beneath which lies a time capsule. In the time capsule, we have placed various items that relate to our school in 2023, our National Honor Society chapter, and each member of the current membership has placed an item along with a statement reasoning why it symbolizes them or holds great meaning to them. There is also a record of the creation of this Never Forget garden inside as well. The remainder of the garden is filled with plants. Plants, especially flowers, help us to express our deep respect and honor for our veterans that can speak for us when we struggle to express our feelings with words. The plants that have been planted here in our Never Forget garden are all symbolic and speak volumes. An obvious color choice for the garden in memory of a veteran is red, white, and blue flowers. We tried to focus on this theme as we selected the flowers for planting, but we needed a little green too. It is a garden after all. Let us start with the white oak tree, which is the item I said will become a focal point as it grows. White oak trees symbolize strength, resistance, wisdom, knowledge, all attributes of our soldiers. This tree holds additional significance though. This particular oak tree was grown from an acorn from a witness tree at the home of President Monroe, the 5th President of the United States. It was alive at the time when Monroe lived on the property and is said to have been a place where he would meet often with his neighbor, Thomas Jefferson, perhaps where they discussed the foundation of our country and our founding documents. It will now be our tree of knowledge and endurance. We also have several boxwood plants. The boxwood is evergreen and therefore resists the cold of winter. This plant's message is of strength, especially applicable to times of hardship. Be like the boxwood and our military soldiers. When times get hard, rely on your strengths to get through it. There are blue rug junipers that represent hope, faith, healing, and protection. Our military soldiers are called on to protect us all, and we have faith and hope that though we will never forget them, our wounds of loss will heal. We have azaleas, red and white. Azaleas carry the symbolic meaning of temperance and prudence. Temperance is the means by which we regulate our emotions. Our soldiers must endure great moderation of their emotions, and their families often do as well. Prudence is the wisdom that guides practical decision-making, quite important to us all. Added to the garden are also red carnations. It was a favorite of our own Ohio-born President William McKinley, who often wore them on his jacket. The red carnation was named our state flower and in his honor after his assassination. Carnations have also been used to show admiration and love and have been used in ceremonies for World War II and Korean War unknown soldiers. We felt it absolutely necessary to have blue forget-me-nots. It says right in their name why they should be in this Never Forget garden. Their symbolism is of remembrance and respect. This plant became a symbol of hope and growth. It also became a source of revenue for wounded veterans. These particular forget-me-nots were grown right here at our school in the greenhouse. We also grew red tulips and white large-capped daffodils to place here in the garden. The tulips were grown and added as a symbol of gratitude. We are so grateful for all that our soldiers have endured for us. The daffodils, like most white flowers, have a meaning of purity, but they also symbolize a desire to be transformed and move away from vanity and selfishness. Delphiniums in hunky-dory blue were added to symbolize cheerfulness and goodwill. Delphiniums are used to communicate encouragement and joy, as well as remembering loved ones who have passed. Blue mascari was added to be symbolic for confidence, and hostas to symbolize friendship and devotion. We have a red geranium to also signify friendship and good wishes, as well as protection. For some ground covers, we added Candy Tuft Snow Surfer Forte. The Snow Surfer Candy Tuft is built for anything that nature can throw at it, just like our soldiers and their families. Finally, we added some grasses. We added blue fescue and red reed grass to symbolize generosity and togetherness. May this garden serve as a reminder of those whom we owe a debt that can never fully be repaid, and that history is not just in books, but all around us. At this time, we will cut the ribbon. If I could have the National Honor Society President and Vice Presidents join me to open the Never Forget Garden to the community.
That you go first?
No, you do.
Okay. We dedicate this garden as a living tribute
To our veterans, active military, and their families, we hope that you all come back and visit the garden often.
To help us all keep our veterans and active military in our hearts.
And to never forget. She just wanted you to wait for another minute. Thank you. We will now have the Newton Falls Veterans Honor Guard retire the colors. On behalf of the Arthur J. Prescott chapter of the National Honor Society, Newton Falls Exempted Village Schools, and our Newton Falls community, I thank you for coming today and participating in this dedication ceremony. And I thank all veterans and active military for all they have done and continue to do for all of America and all of us. Please enjoy the Never Forget Garden as often as you can. Thank you again. We also have some treats up here, some refreshments if you'd like. Have a wonderful day, and thank you again for coming.